This is Amy McCants, part 2 with my good friend and team leader Nancy Bruce on Ready, Aim, Stamp. This time she's going to be showing us flowering foils coloring technique. Isn't it funny that she's showing us 2 coloring options for someone who doesn't color? She cased this one from Nigeza Creates. All right, Nancy.
Okay, I don't like to color, but this is the simplest kind of coloring.
You can move that.
Okay, ready, aim, stamp. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to make this card right here. And as you can see, this is the Flowering Foils new DSP that we have. And it's just white with the foil colors. So I wanted to change that color, so I took the whole big sheet and colored it with Blackberry Bliss. So I'm going to show you that right off to get that so you can see what I did. So there's several ways to do this. You can use a sponge, or you can do it the way I'm going to do it. So
this is another piece of a different type of foil paper.
This is an older DSP.
And the key is any of the foiled on
Any
white.
foils will work. So you can just take this and you can just start. I know that looks like a lot, but don't worry. It'll be good. You just kind of go like this.
And you're probably going to get ink on your hands.
You are. It's a very messy thing, but hey, you don't have to really color. It colors it for you. So then you just keep doing that. This is a very juicy pad too. So, okay. So once you get that all done, and you try not to get too much of it on you, you're going to take your paper towel and you're just going to rub it off. Just like that. And you can see how the foil part stands out.
It's resisting that.
Yes.
Nice.
And then you just take the ink part off and you have this beautiful paper, and you can make it any color you want to do whatever card you want. Okay? So I'm going to move that out of the way now.
I love the look of that.
Thanks. So we don't want to get this on our card. Maybe I'll just flip it over actually. All right. So now we're going to move on to this card right here. So what we need to make this card, get my little stuff here. All right, so this is just your regular card base. It's cut at 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4. And then this, well, let me grab this. This is just a piece of Cajun Craze cardstock that I cut the strip because we're going to make a few of these at Card Club. So I just cut a strip of them, and it's 3 by 1/4. So these 2 rectangle stitched framelits fit on there perfectly. And this is, I counted it out. It's number 5 and number 6 from this set, and I count from the inside. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is how I do that. So I already cut this, but I just wanted to show you.
And she used painter's tape to hold them in place.
I did.
That also keeps your spacing so that you get a nice little frame.
Yes, it really helps a lot. So you can see, oh, and there's painter tape on the back because I wanted to hold it together so you could see it. That's right. All right, so we're going to get rid of this. And actually, we're going to get rid of the center as well because, oops, scissors. Got a little hooky-do there. I need my X-Acto knife is what I need. Okay, so we're going to use this on some other card some other day. So today we will do this. But you will see that by using those same framelits, you can get, well, you wouldn't use all of them. You would just use the smaller one. So you would just use this one right here, number 5, to cut out your foil paper, okay? And that's going to fit right inside there just perfectly. Isn't that great?
And if you didn't want to save this piece to use for another one, you could use it to cut your additional die shapes out of.
Yes, you could do that. I think I might have done that on one of them. Okay, I'm going to move this card out of the way, and we're going to start putting this card together. Okay, so what we're going to do first is I'm going to pick a sentiment, and the sentiment I want to do is from an old stamp set. It's called Hold On to Hope, and it is the Hold On to Hope stamp, okay? So you have to kind of figure out. All right, you have to kind of figure out where this is going to be so that you can figure this out. And I love my Stamparatus. Bring this in, and I'm going to line it up on here and put my magnet down, and then I'm going to line this up, just kind of eyeballing it, and I'm going to eyeball this. I want it right there. So then what I do, oh, I'm sorry, we are out of the frame.
Come my way a little bit. Sorry. There we go.
There we go. Okay, so then I'm gonna take the Cajun Craze and I'm going to stamp that. I'm going to put it on there, make sure it's straight.
Oh.
Amy taught me this. She should know. Okay, so she made this lovely little wipe on, wipe off pad here. And you can see it's actually slightly not straight, but I don't think it would even show in the card. So I'm going to go with it because I could mess it up instead of fixing it. So we're going to wipe that off. Isn't that great?
I just took the Stampin' Up! Grid paper that you can purchase for the Stamparatus, and I ran it through my Xyron that had a laminating and magnetic sheet on it. So it laminates one side and puts magnet on the other side.
Okay, so then we're going to push that down. I think I'll go one more time. I like to put this under here, which I forgot to do. It helps to get the ink on there nicely.
And the nice thing about the Stamparatus is if you don't get a very dark inking, you can just redo it.
Okay, so we're going to take this, put this over here, and I'm going to take this off. All right, and I'm going to move this out of the way for a minute. Okay, so now the best way to do this frame and get everything the way you want is to kind of lay it down where you want it. Then you take this and put some glue on there, like that. Okay, now, hopefully my hands are clean enough to do this. All right, so I'm going to look at this. I'm going to eyeball that where I want it. I think I might even put a little piece of tape on there just to hold it a little bit. And then I'm going to flip this over. And I always do the long side first because, I don't know, makes more sense to me. Okay, and you just press that in there like that. And presto. It's right where you need it. Then you take this off and put your Tombow on it.
I like that idea, that trick and tip.
Remembering that Tombow, you don't need a lot. Okay, so then you carefully take it and you just line it right back up. and it just nests right in there perfectly. I love that. Isn't that great?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so then what we're going to do is we're going to put our accessories, I guess you'd call them. They're the more stamps, really. So I already punched them out, and they are from the Positive Thoughts stamp set. And I put a little bit of bling on here. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see it? It's a little bit shiny. I love bling. So that's the Winka Stella. And I did it on the little leaves as well. I did not do it on this. So this is going to be the first thing we're going to lay down. But I'm going to kind of, well, I guess I know where I want it. So I will take this sheet. Silicone mat. It's not really a sheet, is it? And I will take my snail. And a lot of people don't like to do it this way because they don't like to have the snail in there. It kind of shows, I guess they think. But I like to do it this way. Sometimes I use the Tombow. All right, so I'm going to put this as straight as I can. Right about there. What do you think, Amy? Is that pretty straight?
I think it looks pretty good.
All right. Get that out of the way. Okay, now we're going to start adding these. So I already embossed my butterfly, which I used the copper embossing powder.
I like that.
Yeah, I tried it with the gold and I tried it with the silver, and having put the Blackberry Bliss on the foil, I thought the foil or the copper just looked better. So I'm going to curl its little wings a little bit. Like I said on the other video, I like to do that because it rolls it up, but also it gives you that nice space there for putting your dimensional on. So I'm going to kind of lay these out and see what I'm thinking as far as where I want things.
I like that flower, how it has a little poked up.
Yeah, and I poked them up. This is actually the center. If you look at this, it's actually the center of this flower. But I just chose to use it as a extra. So I think that's about where I want things. So I'm going to just start taking them off. I'm going to put that back there. Take this off. One reason that you would use Tombow instead of the snail on this would be because then you could move it easier if you didn't like where you put it. But since I've done this card a couple times, I'm kind of getting used to where I like it. So now I'm going to cut off some of this dimensional to fit on the back of my butterfly.
The great thing about those dimensional sheets is that you can use the little edges that are around it for different
Yeah, you can use every single little piece of it. All right, so I'm going to stick that right on there. It might be showing though. Take that off. I don't want it to show. All right, so I'm going to peel that off and I'm going to stick that down right about there, I think. And then I am going to use Tombow on this one because I just kind of want it in the middle and then on a couple of these sticking out. So maybe those things I poked up won't go away. I'm just going to stick that underneath there. It's catching. There we go. Let's see. What do you think, Amy?
Yeah, I think that looks very nice.
All right, we'll put it right there. And then we have to put a little more bling. So what I'm going to show you is what I do when I want a rhinestone that is a different color than just your rhinestone color. You can take your blends, your Stampin' Blends, and this is the Cajun Craze. This is the dark one. Now I'm going to show you both because I always start with the light, because what if it's too dark, right? So that's what the light one looks like. And it's okay, but I think I want it darker. So I'm going to darken it with the dark, and I'm going to darken like 3 of them. So I've got this one, and this one. And look how that just changes the color of that. Isn't that neat?
And you want to use the Stampin' Blends over like the regular markers, because the Stampin' Blends, the alcohol in them helps that color stick to those rhinestones.
That is right, Amy. Thanks for that reminder. So then I just take my pointy and just pick some spots. I'm just going to put one there. I'm going to put one way down here. And I'm going to put one right there. I like that. Do you like that?
I do. Very pretty.
Okay, so then just fold that. Take your bone.
Yes, Nancy is impressed on me how important it is to burnish your folds using your bone folder.
All right, so there is the card using Cajun Craze. Now, I want to show you a couple things. I made it, this is more like the original card that I saw online. She used the Blackberry Bliss, which I think is just beautiful. But I wanted to try a different color, so we've got those 2. And then this one was really funny because I couldn't stand that I was wasting the center. And so I took the die cuts and I cut these out of the flowering foil, and then I used, this is where I used the brown instead of the copper. And I don't know, it's okay, but I think these are prettier with the foil back there instead of the solid.
But it gives it a fun, different look, too.
It gives it a different look. So that's what I did. These are my 2 favorites right here. And I hope that you enjoyed this video. What do you got to say, Amy?
Hey, maybe you can let us know. What's your favorite? Did you like the one with the plain background? Or this is the one with the all Blackberry Bliss, and then this one has the Cajun Craze mixed with Blackberry Bliss. All right, thank you so much for joining us for Ready, Aim, Stamp.
Bye.